Hi, everybody. Welcome to your coaching call, video replay, podcast, whatever. However you're listening to this or watching it, or if you're here live with us, Lee Honish, David Bartels, Monster Marketing. We work with homeowners that have missed payment. So let's get the shameless plug out of the way. www.prereo, that's prereo.org. And that'll take you right to the page. 100% free to sign up. Single entry. I'm not letting people do group entries anymore. Please register each person that's going to show up. I know it's time consuming, but it gives us a better count. And we realize who's actually going to show up that way. We have plenty of space. Bring your office, have a party, make it a day. Full day, Pasadena, California, starting at 9:30 in the morning and going till, I don't know, 4:30, and then they usually throw us out anyway. On this call, as always, I am joined by David Bartels, literally the largest and bestest, good word, bestest. I found out.
My bio, bestest.
Bestest is great. I'm joined by David Bartels, phenomenal coach. David, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm going to share, I'm trying to learn new things each and every day and every week. Would you like to learn the one that I learned just the other day?
Sure.
Share it with the group. Did you know gazillion is an actual word in Webster's dictionary?
I've heard that.
I've converted to lead pages, right? To make all my drip campaigns work a little more efficiently. We've talked about that in the past. I was against it. I believe content would rule the day. I am wrong. People like drip, they like feed pages. So I was making another feed page for one of my podcasts, and I decided, well, a million doesn't sound good. I wonder about gazillion, and I was shocked when it didn't put that funny little red line underneath the word gazillion. So for those of you who don't know, that means you misspelled it. So I went to Webster's dictionary online and typed in the word gazillion, and it's a word meaning many, many.
Is that what it said? Many, many?
Yeah, it's really something that a very large sum is a gazillion, but it is officially a Webster's dictionary. It was so shocking to me that I felt like I needed to text people that gazillion was an actual word. And now I need to play it for Scrabble. Now I need a Scrabble round. But I digress. I'm joined by David Bartels, who's literally the top loss mitigator, one of the top brokers of the Conejo Valley, a very good friend. Tell everyone a little bit about you and your services, David.
Well, we run an operation called Home Loan Advocates. Is one of the things we do in the real estate business, which is a distressed property consulting company. And we work with real estate investors and real estate agents who are looking to do transactions with people who have fallen behind their payments, and who want to also where the sellers want to sell the property as a last resort. So we work as advocates, and we can help with short sales and loan modification consultations and foreclosure postponements and those kind of things. We never charge a consumer anything, and we rarely charge a real estate agent anything. And if you want to talk to us, it's 805-413-8000, 805-413-8000.
And you can meet David in person along with myself, the Happy Dappy Monster Marketing crew, March 15th, Summit 2019. We've done it for 9 years. It's moved to its permanent home now of Pasadena, California, because I was outvoted for Vegas 2 years ago. I'm not bitter about it, David. I'm just going to continue to mention it for another 2 or 3 years.
Well, you just like Vegas. You just need another reason to go to Vegas.
Well, lately I've had reasons to go, and they've gotten shot down at every corner. And I'm glad I didn't go for the Super Bowl, because I would have been really sad in Vegas, having been shot down in Vegas. I'm glad I stayed home and stayed on my diet. There was no reason to give up my diet for that Super Bowl. But again, I digress. It's Pasadena, California. It'll be it's considered the Pasadena Library, but it's a really huge auditorium that sits on the side of the building. It's a great stage. It'll be streamed out for those that can't make it on our normal platforms. All of our coaching students will get a link to it. That said, we do have questions, and I do want to talk a little bit about the summit. For those of you who are just listening to this, or random, or somebody forwarded this call or video to you, David and I talk about working with homeowners that have missed payments. To do that, we use something called the Monster Marketing System, a system I developed 9 years ago, which in essence is a marketing piece you place on a property. It generates a response from the homeowner. That response goes to a call center, to a specialized script that David, Diana, and myself, nobody likes my call scripts, generates a call, which goes to really our first question, David, from Chuck Perry. And I think this is more of a motivational question that I'm going to throw out there for you, David. Lee, David, I have a backlog of packages that need to go out from tags. How's that a thing, David?
What, I don't understand the question.
He says he has a backlog of packages. Yeah, well, Chuck follows it up with, do you use any type of CRM, as Excel is not good enough for him? So okay, I guess organizationally speaking, how do you stay on top of appointments and taggings? You use Follow Up Boss. We've talked about this previously.
Right. So yeah, so I do Follow Up Boss to keep track of everything. But I want to go back to the question: the backlog of packages that need to go out.
Right.
Does that mean that he's not going to the door, and he's just mailing packages, or he's missing appointments, or what?
Let's see if
so, Chuck, if you're listening, I'll move on to your next question while you type in the answer to that, or we unmute you, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we'll come right back to it. Mark Davis asked earlier, David, and I was kind of
let's finish his second question. Yeah, I'm using Follow Up Boss to keep track of everything. You know, that's where we're doing our 21 email follow-up. That's where we're doing our we have reminders to touch them once a week and to see how they're doing with the weekly bank questionnaire and those kinds of things. So yes, that's where we keep track of everything, and we wake up and it gives us a list of things we're supposed to do that day.
He missed appointments due to losting. Do you want me to say it correctly? Due losting track. I'll say it correctly. He's missed appointments from losing track.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Well, that's just, your phone has a calendar in it, and it's just really a matter of when you get an email alert from the call center or text, however you're doing it, that you just put it in your calendar. And so you can do that you don't need a fancy CRM like I have to do that. I mean, I recommend one, but if all you're looking for is something to help you, if all you're doing is keep track of your appointments, then your phone should be sufficient for that. I use Calendar on my iPhone, and Google's got their version of it, and then all the computers, then your computers all have one too that should sync to your phone. So that's where I would be doing it. That's where we do it. We don't keep track of appointments in the CRM. We keep track of our prospects and follow-up in the CRM.
Chuck said, thanks. I'm a broker, so I do a ton of stuff. Just need to manage my time.
Donald, I get that. I've got 3-4 businesses going on and a bunch of transactions at any one time. So I understand that. So this is just, but I calendar everything. I time block when I'm going to be doing certain things, so I don't miss anything. It's really not any different than making this time from 10 to 11 on Wednesdays a part of your week. So, that's how I do it. And another way to do it might be to limit the days that you have appointments. So if you're really crazy busy, instead of having random appointments pop up, from your tags, have the call center say you can only do calls. You can only do meetings Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday morning, or Saturday morning, whatever and just block those times out just for first appointments. And if you don't have an appointment, then you can do any of the 300 other things that you might otherwise do if you didn't have an appointment.
Yeah, that is a strange phenomena that I've noticed with the coaching students specifically, that people don't take advantage of having the call center actually block appropriate times to schedule. And I can't stress it enough. From a standpoint of psychology of marketing, right? if you're blocking a time with a homeowner based on your schedule, you're creating a level of importance. So kind of going back to that, Chuck, you really want to focus on getting the times in with the call center. Both Donald and Mark, CRMLS, OCAR, I would imagine most of the MLS is based on the way they're pointing this out. The basic version of Lion Desk is free. There you go, Chuck. Mark Doris brought up a great question earlier, and we'll readdress it right now. Mark Doris is about to hire a non-agent to go put out marketing pieces for him, David. And he was asking, how do you pay? And I said, yeah, you definitely want David's version of this because it needs to be incentive driven. And went in the horrifically long explanation of how many times you and I have had coaching students tell us that they put out hundreds of tags and gotten zero response. And it always comes down to, well, I had someone from my office putting out marketing pieces.
Yeah, so I'm trying to recall how we pay. So I think the way that we do it is that I found out when I paid hourly and I paid per tag, I didn't get very good return on my investment. I paid for a lot of tags and didn't get a lot of calls. And I think that there's a correlation between what people say they do and what people do. Okay, there's something missing there. So what I found is that if we pay for performance, so the way that we do it is we do $10 per phone call to the call center. So if they just call the call center, they get a $10 bill from me. Okay. If the call center, if they make an appointment and they keep the appointment, we pay another $15 for kept appointments. And then if we get a listing agreement or a purchase agreement, then we pay another $100. And then if it ends up in escrow, then we pay, I think, another $125 when we close. And that's how we do it. We make them partners in our success. So they're interested in keeping track of the results and going from. That's just somebody who's their only job is to do tagging. And we found that that works pretty well, because if you think about it, if they put 20 tags out, call it 2 hours of work, okay, maybe a little more depending on how far they're driving to get to the territory. But 2 hours of work, they put 20-hour tags out, they should get 4 calls. That's $40. If 3 of them make appointments and 2 of them are kept, then that's another $30. And then if we end, so that's $70 for 2-3 hours worth of work, which is not hard to get somebody to do. And then and then it's just upside if you end up going deeper into a transaction with that client. We find it worked just fine.
There you go. Mr. Pavoni, our first real East Coast representative using the monster. We're in the process of creating the criteria for new leads for our CRM. How many fields do you recommend for follow-up once they call our phone service? It's an interesting question.
I don't understand the question. How many fields?
How many fields? So he's asking how many follow-up sequences should actually occur. It's an interesting CRM question. How many follow-ups should occur once you've had a face-to-face, once you've had the call? So you've got a face-to-face, you've got second appointment if you've done it correctly, things of that nature. Is there a round number, or is yours kind of endless on that follow-up cycle, David?
Okay. What I do is once I've met them, and assuming I get an email, which we're trying to get through the call center by offering them alternatives to foreclosure. So one of the things we say in our script is we have, would you like to get our alternatives to foreclosure information along with your appointment confirmation? And they oftentimes say yes. And we say, great, what's your email address? And then we get their email address and we send it with a confirmation email. Now, I used to be a fan of confirming appointments and that kind of thing, and I just don't anymore unless I don't want to go to the appointment. If I'm supposed to be there on Friday afternoon and I'm tired and I decided I don't really want to mess with that appointment Friday afternoon, I can be certain I don't have to go just by calling to confirm the appointment, because they'll have they either won't answer the phone to confirm, or I'll get them on the phone and they'll say, you know what, never mind. And they'll cancel, or they'll say, you know what, today's not good, call me next week, and then you can never get them back on the phone again. So because I found that if I confirm or I don't confirm the appointment, it seems to be the same rate of show. I mean, about 50 to 75% of the time, they're going to be there when they say, and 25 to 50% of the time, they're going to be a no-show, even when I confirmed it. So whether or not I confirm or don't confirm, I'm getting the same success rate. So I just go now, okay, or we just send them, to go now. And then once we meet them, then we start a weekly follow-up. Now, more often, if necessary, it depends on the intensity of where we are in helping them. But if it's just a casual follow-up, there's no commitment, they want to walk through their options, they want to try to get a loan mod first, then it's one email a week, one phone call a week. And the email that we're sending them is from out of the Advocate marketing system, which is a 21 email campaign, which is an individual chapter of and a link to a book that I edited called Defeat Foreclosure. And then we also use what we call the weekly lender questionnaire. And at that first or second meeting, we are teaching the homeowner how to call the bank each week, ask these questions, and get them to call us. And so if they don't call us, so I'm saying, well, when are you going to talk to the bank? And they say, I'll call them tomorrow. And I said, would you call me and let me know what they say? And they say yes, and then they don't call me. So I call them the next day. And so when I call them, I'm not calling them, hey, are you ready to list? I'm calling them and saying, hey, what happened when you talked to the bank? And if it's good news, I'm encouraging. If it's no news, I'm saying, well, make sure you call again next week and call me with the results. And if it's bad news, I say, well, let's take a look at it and see if we can retweak your application or look at the other options that might be available to you and schedule another face-to-face meeting. And we keep inching closer and closer and closer to the deal.
There you go. Pete Sanchez. This is an interesting question, Pete, because I've gone down a bunny hole on this topic. Should I give the backstory or the Pete question first in the bunny hole, David? It's up to you because I'm always interested in your feedback. Pete Sanchez's question is, I've been seeing an increase in BKs getting filed to buy more time. Should we continue to follow up with these leads? How do we handle the objection? I'm already doing bankruptcy to keep my home. Now, the reason I bring that up, there was an article that just came out on Seeking Alpha, a very popular website for the investing people, called Market Crash 2.0, written by, I'll put it on the screen for a second, written by David Haggett. He called last summer sort of the break on the arc, and what he's calling a housing crash, to be termed more correctly, is a decline in the value of property, right? That's all he's talking about. He's not talking about the complete and global Titanic thing that happened previously where banks went under. Those are byproducts of devaluation of property. And I went through his whole article and he's saying we're definitely there. But one of the facts he brings up, to Pete Sanchez's point, and I saw this at the, here's the question, David, and with bankruptcies and things of this nature, there seemed to be a steep drop off in the number of people that were delinquent in the fourth quarter that weren't there in the third quarter. I mean, by percentage numbers. Now, I haven't seen the final fourth quarter numbers, but based on what he's pointing out in this article and based on Pete's question, I'm wondering how much bankruptcy comes into play with deciding who's technically delinquent anymore, and how much loan modifications, which I don't know, are they considering them performing or non-performing assets, really skewing what was a fairly steep decline, and everybody's seen it. As of December and January, there are quote unquote fewer foreclosures, the numbers have come down, blah, blah, blah. But there is this tremendous decline, increase in bankruptcies and loan modifications. I think those numbers correlate. I don't have any, other than looking at these charts and graphs and everything I've been looking at all morning, that's the only thing I have to back it up by. I went one step further, David, and I've said this before, most of you, if you didn't know this, I felt that the crash, based on where I was looking at it while I was working at the bank, started in and around Ohio. So I Googled that fact, and there is a record number of bankruptcies and underwater properties happening in Ohio. Now, I'm not saying we're in a crash. I'm just saying properties eventually have to come down in value. Going back to the point, bankruptcies, David, how much does it come into play when you're mitigating short sales? How often do you encounter clients that are doing it? How do you handle them as a lead source?
Well, first of all, if I see that their foreclosure is postponed because of bankruptcy, I skip them. And the reason that we skip them is that they've generally lawyered up, and it's really tough to penetrate their lawyer's advice, the person that they're paying too much to help them. So, I mean, that's my policy. Now, if I get in there and then I realize that they're, doing bankruptcy, then I just kind of roll with, the punches, and I just treat it like I treat everybody else. I don't make any exception other than talk to them about the pros and cons of it and where the bankruptcy is going to stop it. But here's what the bank could do, and this is what could happen. And we just go back and forth about the pros and cons of bankruptcy protection and how that's not a solution. It's just buying you more time. While you're under the protection of bankruptcy, you need to be trying to figure out how to keep your house if that's what your goal is, or how to get the equity out of the walls of your house, or whatever the situation is versus their objective. And we just talk to them that way. It's just a straight ahead conversation, nothing special really.
There you go. What are your feelings on the market at this moment while we're actually on this topic, David? What is your, and again, I'll say it because everybody, I look from a global perspective. David looks at a California/Conejo Valley perspective. What is your general feeling with homeowners when you talk to them? Going back to the chart, certainly confidence in buyers and sellers seems to be declining. That doesn't seem to be an overstated fact.
Well, the short sales are declining.
Well, no. What is your general pulse for homeowners you're encountering and their feelings towards the market?
Well, we've seen a resurgence in buyer activity the last few weeks, particularly the last couple of weeks. So the seller activity came first. So as soon as we got past Christmas, we saw huge virtual activity in buyer and seller activity. Then we started seeing a lot more listings, and now the buyers are following the listings, and we're seeing a lot more buyers beginning to enter the market. And it looks like the spring selling season is starting, which is very good, a little earlier than we expected. So I'm anticipating a pretty good spring or summer selling season. What we don't know is how many listings we're going to actually have on the market and whether or not buyer demand is going to support that or not. That's what we don't know. But so far, so good. We're off to a good start. We're seeing that the new listings that are coming on the market are coming on the market at the adjusted price. The market pulled back 3 to 5% over the last 12 to 14 months. So we're seeing the new listings coming on at using the new comps. And they're selling right away. And we're seeing the old listings, those stagnant, old, high days on market properties, they're still not selling because the sellers aren't willing to adjust their price to where the market is. And they're expiring off the market at unprecedented rates. I mean, in my market, the over $1 million market space, 40% of listings are expiring, withdrawing, or canceling off the market unsold. So I've never seen levels like that before. So what we saw last year was inventory going up, days on market going up, prices coming down, sellers beginning to compete to discount prices in order to sell, where for years we've had buyers competing to raise prices. We saw for the first time in years that sellers were competing to reduce prices. And now we seem to be leveling off. And the market, we're anticipating the market in terms of market appreciation to be flat to slightly up or flat to slightly down, depending on the price range. The lower the price range, the greater the appreciation is going to be. So we're anticipating what is likely to be the most normal buying selling cycle that we've seen since 2011. So I think it bodes well for both buyers and sellers, and good agents and good investors. A little stabilization is really good for everybody, I think. So I think it's a catch your breath year. It is barely a seller's market, barely a seller's market. So they have the slightest of advantages right now, but don't be surprised if buyers get the advantage by the end of the summer.
There you go. And if you're wondering my position on it, and that's the United States version, I think overall we're going to see prices stabilize. And to your point, David, I believe that prices that are affordable for whatever the market is will always be in demand, because that's just the way it is right now. But the luxury market's going to take a bath. I don't see how it can't. I think I was reading an article today. It's not even about, it's the taxes, it's the cost of living to buy yourself into that position. And the other thing that came up in the last week or so are the new studies that it is now a definitive action that people are staying in their houses longer. So I don't think that there's going to suddenly be a huge glut of properties coming on the market, which means agents from a coaching standpoint or a data standpoint really have to diversify in looking for alternative means for getting new listings. I mean, if your bread and butter is just being a listing agent, you're going to have to break out of the cycle of working expired, canceled, FSBOs repeatedly and competing with everybody else, because that's what everybody's doing. Hence why you should be at the summit in Pasadena and learn how to work with people who've missed payments. That was a good commercial plug there, David. I'm working on it. Going to Margaret Burkett's question. Lee or David, do you have a source for 60, 90, 120 day leads? There's no such thing as a 120. There are 30, 60, 90 DQs. I do have a contact. Mailinglist.org. Mailinglist.org. Did I get the name right? We've used them previously. List.org. Let me see if I got this right. No, it's mailinglist.org. I'll get the email out. They're expensive. Here's the thing. Yeah, here they are. Mailinglist.org. We've used them before. That's their 800 number, 888-556-3282. We've all used them. I have an actual email address for you to contact them, but that phone number will work. Ask for Ziggy. He's still around. I got an email. Their prices are egregious. I love these guys, but they have good data. Look, they're literally getting info from some source that they won't disclose, nor will anybody who does this work, but it is some kind of credit pool that's looking for 30, 60, 90s. They only come in a pool batch. They are not 30s. They are not 60s. They are not 90-day lates. They are one big pool. So you kind of get what you get. That's why I've kind of laid off of it, since you used to be able to purchase from a specific, what we call a basket in the banking industry. You can't do that anymore. They are up to 90 days delinquent. And I tried to purchase just 100 of them for some local areas, and they want to sell them by the thousands. And here's why. They're used to people sending mailers and doing cold calls, and you need bulk for that. I only need 100 names. That would last me a whole month of tagging to generate a response. So buyer beware. But they are the best, Margaret, to answer your question. Mark Doris, how would you know if they filed BK before the appointment? Last I checked, it's still on the title report. David, is there any other source besides checking a title report that you're aware
regarding foreclosures?
Regarding bankruptcy.
Well, you can't even do it title. I don't see it on title though. There's a system called Pacer out there that you sign up for, that you can, go in and BK, which we don't really use that much. We just see it on Property Radar where they
Yeah.
have a
They have a tab. They have a tab to click it on and off.
an outlet. We don't go to a lot of trouble to research it. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you end up in a place that's bankrupt, but if we know in advance, then we just skip it. Just like if we get there and there's a sign in the yard, we keep going.
There you go. If someone calls the call center. Oh, good question, Janice. If someone calls the call center and says they're not interested or that they have an attorney already, would you call them back anyway, David? I know my answer.
Yes, we actually have a rejected call script that we use that we slide dial it to them, and we try to email it and go from there. And oftentimes we get a call back and we get to talk to them about it a little more. So, but I don't get that exact. They just say no, we're not interested. They don't.
No, we're not interested, right?
They just shut us down.
Don Ross, going back to the tag question, do you still pay per tags? So are you having an agent do it now and it's incentive driven that way, or are you still paying with your old system? Do you know?
Am I? Well, we have both. So I have the tagger and then I have the agent. So the agent's getting paid on his agent compensation plan. And then the tagger is getting paid on the tagging compensation.
There you go. And that clears out all the questions at the 41-minute marker. Don't make me put in shameless plugs for the summit again. Feel free to load up questions at this point. With that said, I will talk about the summit for a brief moment. It is a full day. Starts off, we'll talk about short sales, foreclosures, things of that nature right out of the gate, followed by David, who will talk specifically about conversion. There is a reason a great number of you seem to leave the event right at lunchtime. I don't know how to fix it. We tried to fix it in Vegas by stacking speakers on the back end. So I think the most important thing when it comes to this event is having a very solid person talk about conversion, which leads to David. David, are you doing are you going to do your usual conversion talk?
Well, I'll talk about whatever everybody wants me to talk about, but that seems to be the consensus of the limited feedback that I have so far. So as of now, if I had to tell you, I would say that we're really going to focus on you're teaching them how to get to the front door and get face to face with them. And I'm going to show them how to get through the front door and get to the kitchen table and turn those face-to-face contacts into cash.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to focus the afternoon for those that are wondering. I really want to focus on value branding, content, marketing, and follow-up. That's really how I want to kind of close out the day and focus on those points and get that content created for all of you. I think that's important. I think every drop that comes through your lead line is literally that valuable to you. I am a marketing guy that just strictly looks at trip lines and constantly keeping the flow alive. Mark Doris. We give a range of 12 to 5 Saturday for appointments, David. When we slide dial them to confirm, should narrow that down to a specific time or keep it general?
When I slide dial, I keep it general. No, yeah. I'm not trying to get an appointment. I'm just trying to stimulate.
No, he's confirming he's talking about he's doing a slide dial for the confirmation of his appointment.
When I do the confirmation, I said, hey, this is confirmed that our homeowner advocate will be at your house between whatever hours the call center said they were going to be on such and such a date. And that's it. I don't even don't call. It's not call back if you can't make it or anything like that. No, this is when we're going to be there. You need to be there.
There you go.
That's my story anyway.
Yeah, no, that would be my story too. Hi, just confirming I'll be there Saturday at 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock. I mean, I'll cut it down because I don't like it when my cable company tells me 12 to 5, but so be it. Barbara Frisbee, will you be doing any more marketing on how to post articles with all the links and other garbage but linking to our website, yeah, I'm. I can actually do that on a Friday. I probably need to build that content. I just am started into a new Facebook group called Always Be Marketing, thanks to Fred and Vladas and a few other. Like, I understand the importance of drip lines through Facebook. So I need to create some content for that, and I can do a what we call content marketing. That's literally what it's called. It's called content marketing. There's no way around it. It's taking articles, podcasts, etc., and it's basically permission-based marketing where you're giving them the bait of coming in and then upselling to another service on the back end using either lead pages or a Woofu form or whatever. But yeah, I'll schedule out based on my week. I can do one on Friday. How does everybody feel about Friday morning for that? I was going to just record one by myself on GoToWebinar, to be perfectly honest, and then just repost the content. But if you guys want me to do it live so you can ask questions, if you want to type in a time on Friday at 10 o'clock work for everybody as a bonus coaching call? All right, great. David, you are a Facebook poster, and you drag that as part of your line. Can you talk about your strategies? I'll put it up for everybody to look at for home loan advocates as well as
No, just use Help You Sell.
Help You Sell, right? I know you do it on both.
Yeah. Well, most of these guys are realtors here anyway, right?
Yeah, they are. And you're the only one I follow, so it's easy to find your particular. Okay, first of all, what is your logic on your video on the top page? Let's just break this down from the beginning. I think this is a great topic.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is instantly associate us with saving, because that gets everyone's attention. They're interested in saving. But people aren't interested in saving money at the expense of poor results. So, for us, our mission is to show people that they can save thousands in commissions without giving up full service expertise or results. And so the content is that we do thereafter and the kind of post is really to demonstrate. So we're demonstrating outstanding results. We're demonstrating good quality content, and we're demonstrating expertise. And so, and more importantly, we're just simply trying to engage them. And yesterday, we hired a lifestyle blogger, and we're gonna have as a brand ambassador, and she is going to be doing totally non-sales kind of posts, live video posts, behind the scenes of what we do, behind the scenes and how you prepare a house for sale, fashion tips, decorating, staging, type ideas, just really simple concepts that that make people want to pay attention and engage without being sold something and without try to what would you call water down, dilute, the hardcore sales call to action over and over and again, and just have some interesting information that people might want to look at just for fun and not because they're afraid they're going to get sold something.
No, it's a really good point. When you came up with your page name, the Help You Sell Full Service, which, by the way, great keywords and everything there. Did you actually put any thought into keywords? And I've talked about this repeatedly on coaching calls when we talk about Facebook. This is probably one of the best search engine tools. Like, I can't beat it. I can't beat it from my podcast. I can't beat it from my own personal name. Facebook just comes up number one. And it is something that definitely needs to be leveraged, especially when you're putting up monsters, right? Or you're putting your message out there, period. You fundamentally have to believe that your clients are going to Google you or search you out. When you came up with the Help You Sell full service, did you research that at all, or was that just you got really lucky? Because that's a great name.
No, for sure I researched it, and one of the things that one of the dilemmas that I have as a Help You Sell franchise is that people think that we're a do-it-yourself company. And maybe way back in the day, you know, the company's 41, 2 years old now, and maybe back in the day, they might have did it a little more focused on for sale by owners and that kind of thing. And what I did was take it and really elevate it to what we call better than full service realty, where we do everything ordinary full fee real estate agents do and more. But instead of charging you a 5 or 6% commission to sell your house, we charge you a low set fee, so you save thousands in commissions without giving up full service expertise or results. And then we demonstrate, what those results are.
Kudos to you. And for those of you,
everything that we do, and we beat that message in over and over and over and over again in all our communication.
And for those of you not understanding what I'm showing on the page, he's competing with the actual corporate website for line one, which you're not going to do. That's like saying I'm going to be Keller Williams, or you're just not going to do that. But here's the actual help you sell franchise websites, right? And he's number 2. That's so solid, David.
No, I'm number 1. This is an ad. This is a help you sell guy that's.
Oh, you're right. It is the ad. You do have page 1.
This is a guy
across the board. You beat the
spot.
corporate.
I don't know why he's.
No,
He must be in your area. And
no, this is you.
Well, no, that's me, but up above the ad is not me. That's a guy.
No, I get that. That's
Corona who's advertising. We don't do any Google AdWords, so everything that you see here is organic. So this is actually help you sell corporate here. So we're outranking them.
Yeah, fine job, David.
So we got, just so you know, I just saw the report. We got 350 clicks from this link right here last month. From Google, from our Google page.
Yeah.
So if everybody, I know this isn't about this. What everybody ought to do is that everybody needs to go to Google and set up a Google page and get in Google Maps and everything Google. If Google's got a place for you to put your company information and your individual information, you should do it. And we are, and we have all of our agents have their own individual pages as well. So. Like Davis Bartel's a realtor, and then he's also part of the team. And if you go up to the top, Davis usually steals some deals from us by accident. Go all the way to the top there. He might be in here. No, see Tom, who's just an agent, his page is showing up on there as well.
Yep.
So you see the individual guys. So you see how all our agents are starting to show up here, Tom and Davis and Heidi. As you scroll down. So we're really doing a good job dominating Google.
It's phenomenal. It literally, I can't stress this enough. And the question is, would I do it at 9? Yeah, I'll probably do it at 9 because it'll probably take 2 hours to show you how to wheel it off to make it all work correctly. The point I was trying to get at, I didn't know that he'd already captured page 1 with his own website, which is phenomenal. Facebook is always going to make page 1. Facebook is always going to make page 1. Facebook will always make page 1. I can't even stress it enough. People who underutilize Facebook don't even understand. So let's talk about your methodology for photos and what you're posting and your content that you personally add. Your pinned post, which is crucial on Facebook, especially if you're doing distressed properties. Go ahead and talk about you do this on a regular basis. You're a big believer in doing video content as well as.
Look at the views. There's 6.8 thousand views.
Yeah.
1,600 views.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's the reason that we do it. I'll be doing another one of these today.
Where do you pull your information?
In fact, now I'm embarrassed because I'm wearing that same sweater.
Perfect. Don't you understand game show rules? You need to bring 5 changes of clothes, so it looks like you've been on the show for 5 weeks.
But this was a good video. This is where we kind of show and tell myth busting for buyers. And then we talked about sellers. So today it's going to be the January market update that we'll do and post it tomorrow.
You're also a big believer of posting articles that are related to your industry. anything
So
real estate
can I
related.
give everybody a secret?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I did recently is that I subscribed to a service called Keeping Current Matters. I think that's what, or Keeping Matters Current or something like that. And it's like $19 a month. There it is, Keeping Current Matters.
14-day free trial, can't beat that.
Yeah, it's like $19 a month or something like that. We did it free, and they give us all this great content, and we just copy it and paste it. And so we're able to do something every day. It takes no effort. It's really good. It's really good stuff. So you've got to, they're trying to sell you some stuff here, but if they want you to sign up, but everybody should sign up for the free trial for 14 days and then use it. If you go to my webpage, you'll see almost all the $25 a month, all the non just listed, just sold, we're great posts, the general feel good, the stuff that's designed to increase engagement. That's all coming now from Keeping Current Matters. And we're finding content to put in our emails to our clients, to put on Facebook, to put on Google, to put everyone. And just so you know, from a social media perspective and a search engine perspective, where content is king, if it's good enough to post on Facebook, then it's good enough to email and put on LinkedIn and put on Twitter and put on Instagram. Well, Instagram's a little more limiting depending on what it is, but to put everywhere. And if it's good enough to email, then it's good to our database, and it's good enough to put on social media. And so you're taking one piece of content and then you're cross-pollinating it against everything. So you don't have to create new content, but you should be posting that content everywhere there's eyeballs, and eventually people will, it'll find something somewhere, even by accident.
And this goes back to the basics of SEO and finding who you are and finding your message. For those of you who are literally rolling your eyes at the concept, the number one reason you're not getting more listings, one, you're not doing enough marketing, and this falls under the category of marketing. This is so monumentally important. I can't even begin to stress how important it is. Janice, on Facebook, I am using homesnap.com. They put the post out for you on your business page, then you can repost it elsewhere. They have a one-time year fee. Any of it will work, but the question is, right, much like David's video, what's your view and what's your share? I mean, that's the secret to social media. I mean, that's all it comes down to. I can show you phenomenal numbers for lead pages for me, where I'm coming off of a post or an email or Facebook because I use great bait. But if it doesn't convert to them contacting you, it doesn't matter. So personalizing the message and making sure that these go to the correct location. Are these all branded?
That's all Keeping Current Matters. That's a Keeping Current Matters. Right. Now, we don't share from Keeping Current Matters. We take the links and post it so it looks like original content from us.
There you go. So you're taking the content, you repasted it.
We're taking the content, we copy and paste it, we take their images, and we recreate it on our webpage so it doesn't look lazy. It doesn't look like we're just clicking share and we gave it no thought. So we slightly customize it for our brand.
On your video, are you going to the trouble of doing all the SEOs and keywords on the back end as well?
Yes, but it's not as easy.
It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah, I know. By the way, I'll cover it on Friday. I'm expanding some of my podcasts into video, so I have a deeper understanding of YouTube as well as Facebook video and the amount of keywords. And if you don't do it correctly, the difference is night and day. It's literally the difference of being in a stream is night and day. Well, that's some really good info and a great way that we ended this webinar. Let's take down some questions. Barbara, yeah, so Friday at 9 o'clock, I'll go through it. Any of you can do it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. What call on Friday, Janice? Starting at 9 a.m. on Friday, I'll post it. I'll send it out. I will show you how to do all this. I'll even show you how to do, if you're insistent on having your own web page or you already have a web page, and I'm not talking about your corporate web page. I am not a fan of corporate web pages. Corporate web pages only help the corporate. They don't help you. There is
Go to Davis Bartel's Realtor and
Davis.
Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, on Facebook. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
To see, so if you're going to have a corporate page like this, you should also get an individual page too.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, nice. He's got the pop-up going. Look at him.
No, he's a social media rock star.
He is. He also does one of the best marketing things that we talk about year in and year out, which is his little baseball, his baseball magnets, which I tried to talk Diana into for Anaheim because she's down in Orange County. I'm like, I'll go put them on the cars. I don't just buy them. I'll go do it. What do I care? It's just a day in the parking lot. There it is. The Dodger magnets are back.
He gets more business from referrals, and he talks to his peer group. He's 31 or 2. He's just turned 32, I guess. He talks to his peer group through here, and they respond like crazy. I mean, just look at his comments and the way he engages. He gets a lot of comments on some of the stuff that he's doing. You got to go down, but and he takes stuff off of our website, and then so like we take it from other places and we put it on our website. He takes it from our Facebook page and personalizes for his Facebook page. He doesn't share it. He reinvents it. There's my house right there. That's in escrow.
This one?
Yeah.
That's your personal house?
Yep. If anybody wants to know where I live.
I think it's awfully small for a one guy. 5 bedrooms, David.
That's just the kitchen.
I can't even picture you rolling around this place by yourself. Oh,
I lived there for years by myself in my empty 5-bedroom house.
By the way, this is exactly how I pictured it, strangely.
Total man cave. Yeah.
How did you not get the stainless steel floors? Which if I had a man cave would have been exactly like that.
Because I knew I was going to sell it one day.
Good point. And he's doing the videos too. Good for him.
Right. So look at the he might have got rid of some. Look at the. Well, I don't know. He had lots of comments in there. He probably picked up 5 leads from that video.
From this one?
Yep.
That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. He's got a branded shirt on. He's doing everything right. So again, you're back to branding, value, offer, and then getting the message out there.
He's like a NASCAR driver. He walks around with his help you sell hat, his help you sell shirt, his help you sell jacket.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But he doesn't put. I can't get him to wrap his BMW.
Yeah, that's going to be a little difficult.
He said, "I'll wrap me, but I'm not wrapping my car, Dad."
That's about as far as it goes. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, he's always around it. He's always got a social. In fact, while you were away on your honeymoon, I was talking to him about the Pasadena event through social media because it's just that fast. It's just that he's on the spot. He knows when he gets notifications. We'll cover it Friday, 9 a.m. for all of you. Janice, on Facebook, I'm using, we covered that. Barbara, yeah, that's the problem now. We've got a company that posts with their name on it. They pull it from other places. I like consistency, not the junk. I pull all my stuff from Google. Don't think that I'm not going to investigate this website David has just dropped onto the table. But when it comes to me feeding real estate agents, it's a little different. It is certainly a little different. I have to find things that are not. Real estate agents are a little different in their feeding patterns. So again, it's just knowing your niche and what you're looking for. If you're looking for people that are distressed, then you want to Google stories about homeowners in distress. If you're let's go back to our point of bankruptcies, David. If your business was getting listings from bankruptcies, which I've never heard of, but let's just say for the sake of a data standpoint, how quick would your Help You Sell franchise start posting stories about conversions from bankruptcy to listings? Would you consider it? Would you actually break down?
For sure, and then I would cross promote it on other things too.
Right, and link it back up. I think the most.
Listen, one of the advantages of having multiple websites like I have, and I have non-branded websites and branded websites, is that they all cross-pollinate. So I'm giving them all backlinks to each other in order to make it easier to find. I mean, for me, the number one most important thing is make it easy for people to be able to find you. So one of my pet peeves is that I get emails from somebody and they're suggesting that we have a call, and I go to call them and I can't even find their email or their phone number in their email signature. So you want everything that you want to do in a way that makes it easy for people to reach you. Because if I have to stop and look you up, okay, I may never get to looking you up. So just think about how are you easy to find, easy to access. All your communication should make it easy to find you.
There you go. Here it is right here. You posted from MSN on Home Loan Advocate. So it's germane to the message, and it follows the niche.
Yeah,
Smart.
and I don't keep up with this. I'm not as determined, on this as I am, because my business comes from different sources. But but help you sell on the retail side. You have to be diligent, and you've got to be doing something every day, even multiple times a day.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's all day, every day. Did you follow up with the 8 votes that said it was a good time to buy?
Well, those weren't buyers. Those were agents.
Oh, they were. Too bad.
Yeah, those were influencers who, but it was unanimous. It's a good time to buy.
I will, for all of you wondering why I'm bringing up the poll. The poll, which is just like a fishing rod, is a great way in real time on how to get leads. And I'll show you how to do that on Friday as well. That's a very good technique. And I've said this before on this particular topic. When you're doing it in an open group and reposting, because that's what you have to do with all this content. You have to get it into groups. It definitely gets, there's a lot that can be done with Facebook, David. A lot. If it's used correctly, both free and enhanced, and certainly getting all that content out there. So Friday at 9 a.m., I'll post that up so everybody can do it. Margaret, David, do you have an in-house marketing person that keeps these all up to date? Don't you? Yeah. Question mark?
Yes.
There you go. And if you'd like to know who's in-house in Casa de Hanish, it's me, because I'm a control freak. What's the source for the calendars? Oh, Davis's source for the calendars. Is he willing to give that out? Do we know?
Sure. Just friend him on Facebook and message him. He'll tell you.
There you go. Big plug for Davis Bartels. Women only, just because it's personally amusing to me. Nobody should look that good, David. Nobody should look that good. Barbara, yeah, that's the problem. Oh yeah, we covered that. All right, again, go to prereo.org, sign up for the event. I think that covers all the basic stuff.